schedule and allocating some time for Trade Ideas to present to you. This is our standard Wednesday Q&A session. And the way we're going to do it is kind of like the format that we've done before. Brad and I are going to discuss the presentation as well as answer questions. Usually the first half is going to be us talking about some of the things that we want to showcase, discussing relevant topics, and the second part will be more towards real interactive question and answer. And again, Brad and I will also be talking amongst ourselves. Brad, feel free to say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Would you quickly put the present? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because I was going to say we can see your whole screen. But okay, so before we start, obviously everybody must understand that Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. And exactly, thank you, Brad. And all the information that is presented in this presentation is for educational purposes only. So please consult a professional before buying or selling securities. Since most of you have already been to this presentation, we'd just like to quickly let you know about the Benzinger Award that we got for basically being the first in class in doing what we do, which is idea generation. And as this presentation continues, we're going to show you why. Okay, so let's talk about the big announcement. We just kind of completely redid the thesis of Trade Ideas, and now we provide you with our own versions of charting, and we're going to present a lot of stuff about that. We're going to talk about how we're going to make some really interesting modification to your first user experience. But most importantly is really the fact that we've launched Trade Ideas version 4.0. Brad, if you could do me a favor, could you maybe go to the Trade Ideas website and really quickly show everybody where and how easy it is to access this, the new version, the 4.0 version.
It's super easy, but it is a little bit hidden. So let me show you. When you launch onto our home page, in the upper right-hand corner, we have these little launch icons here. So if we go to Download TI Pro, we don't want to hit this one here. We want to go ahead and either click this button right here or scroll down, and we'll download this 4.0.02 or whatever version that we have. So this is how
I think we definitely need to make that a little bit easier for people, and we will. But I think there's one little hidden trick, Brad. Can you go back to the home page?
You bet.
I believe I fell for this trick just the other day. Isn't that picture of the chart actually also a link?
Wow.
What do you know?
Wow.
You know, that sneaky development team listens to us from time to time. So guys, again, all joking aside, there's one super easy way to get the latest version, and that's literally you just go from the home page, right by the cheetah, and press on the little chart icon. In fact, what we're going to do is, Brad, maybe you and I could make that bigger and more obvious. Yeah. But that's kind of the first step to let you guys know where to get this. Now, what's really cool is that, you know, especially everybody who's already a customer does not really need to pay anything extra for the charting. It's all included in your subscription, whereas the people that are new and are not Trade Ideas customers yet, if you aren't aware, prices went up when we upgraded to this version because it's a different data situation when we put charts through our system. But again, there's so many of you that have taken advantage of a lot of the offers that we've done that we feel like it's been an incredible path to get this information and get the charts in the most cost-effective way for you to have it. By the way, for everyone who's asking questions in the questions panel, Scott will man some of that, but remember, we're going to try to get to as much of that as possible in the second half of our presentation.
But real quick, CN, yes, you're going to have charts with light speed, so I'll show you a little bit later in the presentation how to get that.
That's right. So, okay, now that you guys all know this, I mean, I would really suggest that, from my point of view, it is super silly to be on the older version of trade ideas if you can go to 4.0 and upgrade. There's just better functionality with the charting. Brad, do the layouts transfer over?
Yeah, the layouts transfer over perfectly. In fact, everything that's in your cloud is going to remain there, and regardless of the version you're using, that cloud is still yours to be able to pull anything that you've saved there. Also, if you saved it locally to your hard drive, those files, whether it's a layout or a window, are both retrievable.
Very good. Let's, Brad, let's go back to the agenda real quick so we can just give everybody a quick overview of how we're going to flow. So when we discuss the actual program and some of the things that, like, we're basically putting the number 1, A, and 2 kind of all together. And it sort of will bleed into 3 stocks like this, where Brad and I have like a new way for you guys to be able to get some interesting information. And our whole goal here is always to provide you with a way to just access more power out of trade ideas. Brad, let's minimize the PowerPoint and jump right into the, the program. And
boom, right here. Okay, so you're looking at my desktop, and I mean, really what we've been doing, sleeves are fully rolled up right now, and we're in the process, Dan and I, of creating new channels. So in addition to the old channels that we had without charts, we're going to create an entire new bank of channels that are inclusive of charts. But at the same time, we're going through and we're really revamping all the data points in all of the different windows. But let me
Brad, one of the things that I wanted to just kind of touch upon as I hear you say that is I think we're one of the only companies out there that lets our customers kind of view the build process as it happens. When you're looking at Brad's desktop, I mean, you're looking at literally a version of development clay. And as you can see, not all the channels are in there, because we're literally rebuilding them from scratch. We're tying in the charts, and we're redoing all of the windows. Sorry, Brad, but go ahead.
Well, no, that's okay. I kind of lost my train of thought. But the real gist of it is that every user, and I want to kind of reiterate the fact that while we are providing this channel bar and this real great way to experience the market without having to configure it yourself, all users can really take these windows, put them on their monitor where they want, add different windows, and save those to their cloud to really create their own effective channel bar by having their own channels saved in their own cloud. So I just kind of wanted to say that. But
yeah, no, and that's really a great call. Brad, one of the things that I wanted to see if you could do real quick for me, though, since we're showing people the charts and what you can do with them, and I know that Barry pointed this out to me the last time I was doing a webinar, and that is, could you open up 2 new charts and put the SPYs or the Qs in them, one daily and one intraday, and leave them unpinned?
You bet. So in all of our windows, whether it's
unlinked.
Sure. Well, whether it's a chart or any of our other data windows, top list, alert, or multi-strategy, the best way to duplicate or to copy a window is just use this right-click duplicate option. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to move it right over here. At the same time, I'm going to right-click in this window, and I'm going to uncheck this symbol linking. By being checked, all of these charts, regardless of time frame, are going to keep the same symbology in it. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. Let's type in SPYs here. So there we go. So now let me go ahead and duplicate this window right here, and we'll put the Qs in this one. So now as we cycle around the software, we can click on any symbol in any one of these different channel windows. It'll update the charts that are linked and keep the other charts that we want to have as baselines for the market. So let me do this. Let me. I kind of want to fly up in the helicopter real quick. I kind of drilled into what I'm working on here, but let's just step up in the helicopter and talk a little bit about trade ideas and what we do and how we find these great opportunities for you. So in our data center, we're collecting every single tick of every stock in the market, and we have an incredible set of computers that baselines every stock, what's normal behavior on every single time frame. So when something abnormal happens, we have a variety of different filters in our software that allow these symbols to really drive right to the top of your awareness level, so that when a symbol is presented in a window, you can click on it, take a look at it, and see if this is an opportunity that you want to participate in. And right now we're looking at a surge channel, which really takes a look at price and volume action through the day in real time and delivers those actionable ideas to you. But these other channels are really kind of set depending upon what you're doing during the day. For instance, these different themes that we put together. This is a pre-market theme, pre-market channel, and when you come in here with the pre-market channel, and again, I apologize because this is a real development version, but when you come in with the pre-market channel, you're going to have a look at gappers, that are stocks that are gapping up, stocks that are gapping down, and other stocks that are moving on high volume. Let me go ahead and see if I can kill this and start over.
Yeah, everybody knows we do this on every single presentation. Again, that's part of the stuff about, we aren't showing you guys the production versions. We're showing you not even the beta versions. We're showing you pre-alpha where we're just, doing it all internally. And I don't think, again, anyone hesitates for a minute. If those things aren't breaking, then something's wrong.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It does highlight one of the reasons why we did kind of nest the ability to download the charting software. This still is in beta, and so the software with the charting components is still in beta. We hope to have a final production release next week.
Yeah. So by the way, Brad, Aaron in the room just asked a question about charts, which I think we should answer because it's very important. He said, "Is there a limit to the amount of charts that we're putting out?" The answer is yes, and right now that limit is 10 charts. There's a really good reason for that too, and that's part of actually the value proposition that Brad was talking about. We were talking about what does Trade Ideas do, and we're saying, well, we're taking all of this real-time data in from the markets, doing statistical analysis and looking at it on every time frame, and because we're doing that, that takes away the necessity to have 30 charts, because first of all, it is well known that human beings can really, at the most, process about 4 things, and even then you have to kind of focus your attention on the one thing you're really looking at. So in terms of the charts, again, you can have 10 charts per your login, but the idea is that you shouldn't need to, and we're showing you why. Because as you channel surf, you're moving around quickly to whatever it is that is already being designed and curated for you to show you what's important. It's the same reason that people, ask us, and that was another question, Brad, was, well, where are the Bollinger Bands and where are the RSI and whatever? And what we say is, guys, they're inside the alert windows. This is a new type of metadata. Our analytics is already doing all that calculating for you, and when people are so used to needing to draw something on a chart and thinking that whatever that drawing is, that it's some sort of indicator because your eyes are connecting, 2 dots. But the problem, guys, is, and we're going to show you, that it just doesn't make any statistical sense. So what we do is we do all of that indicator processing behind the scenes. So, right, Brad's showing you, look at the Bollinger Bands. You can set up a window to show you anything and everything inside the Bollinger Band, and it's already done programmatically. There's just absolutely no reason for you to need to see them. You can set up how much % you want above or below or so on.
It's really the beauty of how Trade Ideas layers the data and layers the filter. So, like, for instance, we created this unusual social mentions today window, which has a lot of great stuff. It's just showing you all the stocks that are being talked about more than normal. But if you only wanted to see the stocks that are being talked about more than normal that happen to be above their upper Bollinger Band on a 60-minute chart, this is where you put that filter in, and then you're assured that any symbol that's visible in this window right here is above the upper Bollinger Band on a 60-minute chart. So you don't need to have the 5-minute and the 60 and the daily and all that. It's really delivering the actionable idea right to you.
Brad, as we're talking about this, maybe as part of this overview, and especially for some of the new users who are with us as subscribers but maybe just signed up recently, why don't we quickly explain to them the difference between an alert and a filter? And again, I think this is good even for the, old-time users to always review, because what Brad's talking about in the Bollinger Bands really applies to that. If you kind of innately understand the difference, you really open yourself up to a lot more power that can be derived from your Trade Ideas experience.
Okay, so let's, first of all, Trade Ideas has a variety of different window types that we display data in. We've got these windows that have a T in them. We have windows that have an M in them. So the T is for top list. It's a ranked list of stocks, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And the multi-strategy window has really a bunch of different alert windows all embedded into it. But the alert window, which is really what we started out with about 13 years ago, it's the original technology that we came to market with. It's event-based notification that's letting you know when something's happening in the market that you have told it that you want to be alerted to, whether it's a new high or a new low. That's the event. But it's really, the magic happens when you couple the filters with those events. So in this window right here, we're just looking for new highs and new lows as the event. But when you start to get into the filters, this is where you can really start to craft what that stock looks like before that new high, triggered the event. Is it happening on tremendous volume? Is it above the 200-day moving average? These are the types of filters that you can start stacking on each other to create a strategy.
Brad, maybe we can touch upon just the kind of the technical term in terms of what's called and or logic, because that's again, we hear that a lot from people, and it's really easy to delineate the two. Like the alerts that Brad showed, and he can select many of them. So if I select new highs, new lows, standard deviation breakout and breakdown, and crossed above daily highs and crossed above daily lows, I'm going to see these events. I'm going to see one or the other or the other or the other, so they don't all have to happen together. Like, I mean, this is not, first of all, you can't have a new high and a new low happening at the same time. So these are the alerts are or events, and that's what Brad is saying by triggers. So as many alerts as you want to select, all of them will be shown to you when they take place, and they're independent of one another. But the filters, the window-specific filters, is really the power. This is the and logic, and it's how you limit your universe. So, for example, Brad, let's show like a real, something that people it helps people to see it. So look at the price. Right now we have 1 to 1,000. Well, that's almost everything, right? But you can say 5 to 15. So now, the only way to see the alerts that we showed you in the Select Alerts tab, the only way all of those will occur is only if the stocks that are doing all the other stuff in this window are between $5 and 15 cents. And also, of course, the other filters, which are also
and this is where the and logic comes in. So every filter needs to be satisfied here, quite different than the alert. So in addition to the price being in this range, 5 and 15, it needs to be up at least 2%. The average daily volume of the stock has to be at least 100,000 shares traded on average. And then the relative volume needs to be trading 1.5, 50% more than its normal volume at that time of day. So all of those stacked upon each other really create the flavor of what that new high or new low is going to look like when it's triggered.
Absolutely. And again, it's the different type of approach. When we were talking about the first user experience, and there is no necessity in it for you guys to know how to do this. But if you want to create your own strategies and modify them, it really helps to have that solid foundation, which, by the way, brings me to another point. So one of the things that really distinguishes Trade Ideas from, I think, a lot of vendors is that everybody who signs up with us, and again, the ones that have done so already know, we give you a one-on-one training session with Jamie Hodge or Brad or myself or some of the other experts in Trade Ideas, specifically so that you can get on the right footing when you start your Trade Ideas experience. So it's really important to take advantage of this education opportunity. So Brad is showing you where you go to our support and training request in the support area, and that will, there's an area there, right there, where you can basically ask to receive a training session. So this is specifically aimed at helping you kind of have that baseline foundation so that you do have a better understanding of what's a filter and what's an alert and why is it that, again, we do some of the things that we do the way we do them. If you have not done so, please take advantage of this because it really sets you on the right path. So one of the
There's
things,
a good
again,
question, Dan, that's really kind of relevant to what we're talking about. And CN asks about really the same structure that exists with the top list windows. You know, since there aren't alerts there, how does it react? And the filters act the very same way. Everything here needs to be satisfied for a symbol to populate in a top list window.
Exactly.
The only difference is there's not a trigger event to do so. We're just making sure all the symbols meet this filter criteria. And then the other point with the top list window, this sort tab is super important because what we're telling it is, you know, grab, in this particular case, grab the most StockTwits average activity mentions per day. Grab the top 100 of those that meet all the filtered criteria. So between the filters and the sort, that's how you really configure the top list window.
And Brad, let's not forget, you know, this is one of actually our top innovative windows because it has what we call multivariate color-assisted sorting. So we're kind of sorting on 3 different things at once. And notice how when Brad's showing you this window, there's certain things that kind of just pop out at you. And Brad, don't do anything yet, but
okay.
Look at shake and free, AMD, LOC, K. Why do those stand out? Well, Brad will show you when he resorts it.
So I'm going to go ahead and sort here. This is how the window is inherently sorted from the change from the close. But if I was to take this and sort it on StockTwits relative activity, this is where the highlight really comes out. I can see the stocks that not only are having incredibly high social mentions, but also which stocks are up a lot for the day. And so the stocks that have this dark green band, it's a gradient color, and the darker it is, the higher it is for the day, the higher the change from the close is.
And Brad, it makes me feel like also it's a perfect segue to also show people, once again, now that we have the charts to reinforce it, look at the position in range columns, okay? So these graphical columns are all designed to help you kind of get an edge on the people that are going to be looking at the charts. And the reason I want to, Brad, resort it the way you had it on the change from the close real quick. Okay, so what I wanted to showcase here is notice that SHK, SHAC, is very close to 20-day highs. And the reason I know that is because of this position and range indicator. Now, when I click on the SHAC symbol, that should reinforce my message.
Yeah, this is our daily chart right here.
Yep. So it's just, you know, again, if you look back, it is right now, believe it or not, 96% off of 20-day highs because it's coming off of lows. Okay, look at ESI, the one that's like the green bar right there. Okay, same thing. You know, it's really kind of coming off of some serious up movement. Okay, so you already know ahead of time, and now if you go to free, what you should see is a downward 20-day movement. And indeed you do.
So let me explain what this position in range, like for instance, because we have this on all different time frames. So the position in range, it's really just a graphical indicator letting you know where that stock is in relationship, this one right here, in relationship to its intraday high and low. So very quickly, if I did a sort here, well, I could see this stock right here, PVA, is on highs of the day. And you can see that without even pulling up the chart, but the chart confirms it. So if you sort it here, these stocks here are on highs or very close to highs. And right now it's set to give you a graphical indicator. But if you right-click, brings up our context menu, uncheck the graphical indicator, and this really presents a value for you. And every column that we have is really a filter that can be adjusted. So if you only wanted to look for stocks that happen to be in the upper 25 percentile of their range for the day, you could put a filter in here. Let me do it real quick. I'm just going to right-click
I was going to say, you definitely should show it as an example.
Configure position and range, and I want to make sure that everything is in that upper 25 percentile. So the minimum value is going to be, look, if it's between 0 and 100, the minimum value is going to be 75. So if I do that, and I hit OK, and I look at my position and range, everything in here, and I can scroll down, nothing's going to be less than in that 75 percentile, or that top 25 percentile, rather. So now if I go ahead and take that same list that's the contents of symbols that are in this window and resort it, it's all, everything's right here. I still have all the stocks that meet that position in range criteria, and then I can just further manipulate the data.
And obviously, you could create a window that has both categories in it. For example, you could say it has to be on 20-day highs and close to the highs today. Just do the same thing so that people can kind of see it, like how you start to bake these ideas into actual functionality.
So I'll use that same minimum value of 75, and now my list is dramatically shortened, probably about 12 or so, maybe 15 or so symbols.
But possibly more manageable for people.
So let me show something else that's really cool, because we do on a lot of our channels do have the inverse relationship of a window, but that's not always the case, and we've made some changes to this one. I want to show you how easy it is to take it and do the reverse of it. So I'm just going to duplicate the window, move it right over here. I'm going to right-click, go into Configure, and we provided this little flip button down here. Makes it so I don't need to go in and remodify the filters. It'll know which ones it should flip. It'll know which ones shouldn't. Like EPS should never change. So I'm going to hit OK, and now I have an exact, carbon copy inverse of what I had over here. So this now is the most discussed and trending down today.
Yeah, that inversion, the flip feature, just makes it so simple to quickly get what you need. Brad, do me another favor, since we just kind of gave people a good lesson on configuration. I wanted to, because again, I'm conscious of our time, and we want to give people enough time to answer questions and all the other things I wanted to show. Could you expand the daily chart and show what we added to the charting since we've launched? Because we did add some things. Hopefully, Brad's version won't crash. But so there's a couple of things that you can do now. So first of all, let's show the time frames just so that they can see. There's the 1 minute, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 30, and daily. You can select to show pre or post marking data. And now you can insert a text annotation. So you can write something like hello. Yep. I think if you hit enter, it'll just do it, right? Yep. And then, of course, we added some drawing tools. And some trend tools, so that you can kind of draw the trend, you can move it around, you can do all sorts of regular stuff with it. And this is obviously all kind of still very early. We're going to improve this a lot, but it's there right now. You can also take our charts and post them to social media, to StockTwits, who is one of our partners and whose data we use to help get more out of information.
So let me just bring that up real quick so you see the end result.
Now, Brad, Scott pointed out that the annotations are not in the 4.02, but 4.03 is going to be out like very, very shortly.
Yeah, so 4.03 will be out very shortly, but also keep in mind, right now the annotations will disappear if you move on to another stock, and this is getting worked into the server so that those data points are retained. So it's still a work in process.
Yeah, I mean, again, this stuff comes out sometimes daily, and Brad and I are just making sure that the people that are spending their time with us at Trade Ideas are aware of the best stuff that we've got, the newest things that are coming to market. One of the things, Brad, that I wanted to show, maybe do we have the pre-market window? Let's talk about that, because I think it has some new stuff in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, we added a few, I think, additional strategies here. We had a moving up pre-market.
Yeah, I think what we did here was we wanted to make it more clean and just get you to what you needed faster. So we kind of improved the filtering of the gapping stocks, so you can, again, very, very quickly be pointed right in the direction of strength and weakness. And we definitely improved the pre-market movers, so you're not only being alerted to just volume or pre-market highs and lows, but as you could see, the S-Fund moving up in pre-market, that type of alert. Brad, did we set that the right way?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
okay.
I want to do something here also. I want to show. Well, we didn't save it, so I'm not gonna be able to show that one.
What were you talking about? The pre-market data points, the columns?
Yeah, well, actually, let me show this. This is another thing I wanted to show. It's more annotation on the chart, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a history of this window right here, so that I want to go back in time and kind of look at the results that happened in the first 15 minutes of the market today. So I'm on the West Coast, so I'm going to put, say, 6:45. I'll put 6:50 in here, a.m., and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to let this run. I'm going to bring in the results, and once I do, when I go ahead and click this on a chart, one of the great things that we do is we annotate the candle that generated that particular alert.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
I can cycle through the results here. I can see, look, this is happening in real time. What would have happened had I got into a position right here? And you can see throughout the day, where did it start to bleed away?
This one was good today.
There were a lot of great opportunities for certain.
Yeah. Well, and that's, by the way, one of the reasons that we really wanted to kind of put a facelift on the channels as well, because we think that, that's one of the places where we're going to improve a lot, because we kind of put in a process to make sure that we're always evaluating ourselves and making sure that the channels are kind of geared to really give you the most important information in the best way possible. So, Brad,
let's take another question, Dan, and then let's bring Scott back on, and then let's
absolutely. Scott, why don't you give everybody a quick overview of the offers, and then Brad and I will come back, answer questions, and do some more stuff.
Sure. Put that on slide 6. First, I'm going to talk about our new pricing. A lot of you probably noticed I've fielded many questions about it on the support ticket desk. About the price change, we have gone from a standard $75 a month rate to $99 a month. And our annual has increased from $628 to $888 per year. This is it's been a long time coming in the first place for a price raise. And the second place, the opportunity to do it is perfect with the launch of charts, beta last week and the official release next week. I will be offering a product code to thank everyone later on in the webinar following the question and answer period. That will save you some money, and anyone who does not currently have an odds maker or a subscription will be able to get a great rate. The odds maker, of course, is a lifetime license, and it's going to be necessary for the AI channel. The AI channel is something that's going to be coming at the end of the summer. Exact date is still to be determined, but it should be the first week of September or so. Again, once you get the lifetime odds maker license, you have it for as long as you're a Trade Ideas client, whether you come or go or your subscription's active or inactive. You can come back and still access it. I don't have to explain the Advantage Player right now because we currently have eliminated that one. So there's no $43 a month with the upfront higher cost at this point. There will be a package later on in the presentation, though. Brad, Dan?
Scott, thank you. So, Brad, why don't you and I, again, right now, do our best to answer questions live. And also, I think, Brad, didn't you want to show something cool about stocks like this?
I did.
Okay, maybe you can start that, and I'll see if I can field some easy questions.
Okay,
so,
and then we'll take some live ones here. But this is a question that I got today. So I thought it would be kind of timely. I like to do things that people are asking, but I get this all the time. Not so much with this symbol right here, TPLM, but oftentimes people are like, this symbol triggered at this time. How can I find it? This person here was a little bit more specific with the particular scan he was looking at. He was looking at this high volume mover scan. But let's take a look at the stock and see what we can pull from it, and then I'll show you some of the tools that we have to really find a way to configure it yourself. So TPLM, and we want to look at yesterday. It was really yesterday was the move that he was interested in here. So that was 7:20.
Brad, how did you scroll the chart like that?
Okay, so I'm using the scroll mouse wheel to scroll the chart back in time. Okay, and I can also, if I hold the control down and I do the mouse scroll wheel, I can compress the candles or I can expand the candles.
Yep, very important.
So this gentleman right here identified this particular stock at 378. That's this candle right here as it started to break out and make a new high. So what I want to do is I want to know what characteristics were present in this particular stock at this particular time so that I could really kind of figure out which filters and filter values I should put in to identify a move like this and see if there was really anything interesting about the move. So the first thing that I would do, and let me just open up a browser page and bring it here, as I go to our website, and I will go to the support tab, and there's an option here called stocks like this. So for stocks like this, I'm going to move this back up. It gives me the time indication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the symbol in here, TPLM. I'm going to put the date, which was yesterday, and the time frame. And the time frame, 10:22 Eastern, is 13:22. So let's just do 13:20. And this is going to give me a 5-minute snapshot. And when I hit submit, it's going to tell me during that 5-minute period between 10:20 and 10:25 which alerts triggered in trade ideas, regardless of what filters are set up. And then every filter, it's going to give me the value range of each filter during that time period. So I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And it really just presents you with a wealth of data and information. Now, I know by looking at that chart that this is a stock making a new high at this point. So confirms by telling me that that is an alert that triggered 7 times during that 5-minute period. And you can go down and you can see all the other trigger events or alerts that happened during that time. But the real cool stuff is when you get to the filters, and you can see that during that time period the stock range price was between 374 and 381. But the thing that would interest me would be a value somewhere here. This 5-minute percentage is now in the range of 300. You know, something that's a pretty significant value. That's 3 times normal on the size and size of that 5-minute volume candle. So that's pretty significant.
Brad, I want to kind of, if I can just make people aware that look at all these data points, right, that Brad's showing you. So this is like, again, your ability to get in the matrix. And what Brad's showing you is that this is how you, if you're really kind of being more of a scientist, and we offer that that opportunity for you. You don't just have to take what we give you. You can research things and improve upon things and even come up with things that we haven't seen, but you have this breadth of data. And by the way, this data that Brad's showing you is critical to what we're going to discuss in terms of the odds maker and why it's been the biggest improvement in our offering in a long period of time. So again, we're going to show that to you, but this is that stocks like this, it's a very underutilized resource, and we all are very strongly suggesting that you take a look at it, because going from our charts right to here, you can see the exact time, you can put the time frame you want. And Brad, could you maybe switch it from 5 minutes to 15 minutes in the stocks like this? There is that ability in there, right? So look, now you want to get on a 15-minute candle, here you go. So this is, again, you're like an explorer. You can do some amazing things.
Let me show something, because to be quite honest, everybody, I don't even use this particular tool. I mean, this is there and it's great for the research, but there's a limitation to it, right? The limitation is the minimum time frame was 5 minutes. And when I'm developing strategies and really digging into the market, I really like to get into the second and really find the opportunity that I really wanted to be identified. And so what I do is a little bit different, and I would take, something like a new alert window. I'll be really quick here, so I'm not going to confuse you too much, but I'm going to start from scratch. I know this was making a new high at the time, so I'm just going to select a new high event. I'm going to make sure that I'm only looking at that one symbol, and that symbol is going to be TPLM. The other thing that I want to do, I don't care, I don't want any filters on here. So hide unused, no filters. My filter is really just the symbol that I'm using. But the important thing are the columns that I'm going to have. So I'm going to come over here, and I know that volume is usually a huge catalyst when I'm designing a strategy. So I can bring in a couple different volume criterias.
Can I, while you're doing this, I kind of want to give our users a Tesla metaphor that I think is perfect. So when Tesla first came out with their product, and I'm a real big technophile. I love it when people innovate, and I think Elon Musk is great at it, right? But when Tesla first came out, they had the body of a lotus. So they didn't use their own body because they hadn't developed one yet. They hadn't done all the innovation to make it happen, but they had some of it, and they wanted to put it out. So the website, what Brad is showing you, Brad, if you can bring that up real quick, the stocks like this.
Yes, let me see what I did with it.
So this is the Tesla with the Lotus body, because like here again, you can look through all of this and see all the data points. Okay, and again, you can do amazing things with that.
And just to highlight, look at all these custom data points that you can create. So just know we have custom filters that you can get in, roll your sleeves up, and create mathematical computations off the data points that we have.
Or you can ask really nicely, and maybe Brad will give you some of his. But only if you ask super nicely. I kid. You can ask any way you want. But so now you can kind of see the evolution where Brad said, well, I don't use this anymore because I'm more into the Model S60, where in the Model S60 was the first Tesla version with their body that had the, the engine that was not as powerful as the ones that they're having right now, which again we'll get to. But Brad, show them how your Model S works here.
All right, so this is what I do. Now what I did was I created this window, no filters, just added some columns. So these are my data points. Very much like that Stocks Like This page had a ton of them. I just selected a few of them, and I could select as many as I want. In running that history, I go right to that time frame that he said, 378, making a new high. But the real thing that I'm looking for these data points. And this data point, for instance, the volume in 1 minute. Well, that's huge. That was 987% of normal, 1,000% of normal. Those are significant data points that I would use when I'm creating a strategy. And so whether it's just volume, I would have a lot more columns here, but the beauty is that I'm not limited to these 5-minute chunks anymore. I've got any new high, I'm going to get a data point that I can look at and I can analyze. The relative volume, you can see how it's growing through the day here. Started off here at 1022 at 1.24, which is letting you know it's trading 24% more than normal. But as time's going on and it's moving up, this volume is increasing. And one of our greatest data points, I think, the relative volume column, which lets you know a ratio of how much volume is happening in a stock at that moment in time compared to normal at that moment in time. I'll put a custom color
will you do me
here.
a favor real quick before you jump into the colors? So Brad's also, again, remember he's demonstrating to you what we have is the single symbol. Could you switch this to Apple real quick and show people what that would look like? How do you do that? You go to configure.
Well, what I would do is I would go here, I'd configure, and I'd say my symbol list, and I'd just change that to Apple. Or I would have duplicated my window, and I probably should have changed the name. But now if I was to run a history on that for today, I'm going to get that same look. I'm going to every new high that was generated for Apple, I'm going to get those data points. But I could go in here and maybe Apple wasn't bullish today. Maybe that guy was making a bunch of lows today, and I could add a bunch of other alert triggers here to get additional data points. So let's do that. Let's just go.
Well, it's like you can see a stream for a stock. Like what did its flow look like? You can feel the the pull one way and what the bounces felt like, and again, just there's so much opportunity for you to explore. That's why again we've also drawn comparisons that we have the kind of power inside trade ideas that's not unlike the way Adobe Photoshop is used by professionals. So that's what you guys are here for. It's not that this is complicated. You don't have to do any of this with the channels, as Brad and I have shown you. The channels are not an FYI or a, or a starting point. The channels are production. What we're saying is, guys, if you want to get great ideas, great trade ideas, you don't have to know how to do what Brad's doing, but we want to show you that there is that possibility. You have the access through training and through your own exploration.
Let me take Aaron's question right here, kind of dig in a little more into the custom filters. I'm not going to show you how to do all that stuff right now, but I'm going to show you how to get there, and we do have the documentation on the site. And if it's something that you want to know more about in your training session, just ask. we let you guys kind of dictate the agenda as well in that. You know, if you don't dictate the agenda, we'll certainly lay a path, but any questions you have, it's really your time with us. But go to our website, go to support, and then go to the formula editor. And the formula editor, if you're just coming there for the first time, you won't have anything here. These will all be blank. What you would do is you just go down to the bottom and, well, you would create a new one, or you would go to the help. And this is a great place to start just to see what you can do with this particular component of the software.
Yeah, it's really the kind of resource to, again, completely modify the experience, although that isn't a necessity for success. So Brad, again, I think we've shown enough, so let's go under the kimono one more time. And what Brad's showing you is, again, remember we were talking about Tesla and the Model S60, the original Tesla that came out. Well, what you're looking at right now is what we call ludicrous mode. And this is the AI channel. And Brad, bring up.
We don't charge 10,000 extra for that mode either, do we?
No, yeah, you guys don't. Brad, bring up the stocks like this just as a frame of reference.
All right. I closed it, so I'll just reopen it.
Okay, and just again, any stock, it doesn't matter, right? Yep, Apple. So we've demonstrated today that in stocks like this, if you go down, keep going to all the data points. So you see, okay, stop right there. So you see there's like all these data points, like for example, volume yesterday, 62. Volume 5 minute, the range was from 2 to 201.8. So this is what, people say, well, what's the difference between you guys and TC2000 or some of these other vendors of ideas and stuff? And this is kind of the difference. The difference is we keep and create our own data, and we can reference in a way that nobody else can. So we have all of these data points. And here's why this is important, okay? So you guys probably all know how notoriously terrible exit polling is. And one of the reasons is that people go to vote for whatever candidate, they come out, they take 1,000 people randomly, and they poll them, and they hope that that's a representative sample of something or other, and you're going to get some insight. But as it turns out, 1,000 people is probably not a good sample size for a population of however many people vote, 100 million or whatever. So here we have all of these data points. So what that allows us to do is programmatically ask the computer to help us figure out which one of these data points makes the most sense. And again, for those people that don't have the odds maker, this is what we're talking about. It's about creating strategies that are no longer visual, which is why you don't need to know really if the Bollinger Bands are expanding or contracting, or if a fan is waving, or if a trident is spiking, because we've taken it to a completely different level. So Brad, again, let's keep this here. I want to keep it as a reference. And let's even move away from the AI real quick, and let's just bring up an alert window of a new high on 2 times normal volume. Yep. So, and we have these in the pre-configured settings. So this is an alert window of a new high on 2 times relative volume. The question with this is, is a very standard question. Well, how do I make money with this information? I mean, this is what we're here to do. How do I make money? So in order to make money, you have to know how to take the most educated guess that EEEQ will either, depending on what your strategy is, continue to go up, or this is the end of its run. So let's presuppose, Brad, the question of it's going to continue to go up, and let's ask our odds maker, which is kind of our AI gateway and testing engine, to see what happens if you went throughout the day, and let's say 15 minutes after the close. So again, remember everybody, we're on West Coast time, and no more than, let's say, last hour, just hypothetically speaking, so that you have time to exit. And let's say our exit time is 30 minutes before the close. So the idea is that we're doing a general testing scenario of, well, what happens to these events if I buy them and get out of them at a specific time frame? Now, people say, well, why are you doing that time frame? Or not another time frame or some technical exit signal. We kind of talk about the fact that, of course, by the way, you can do that. But let's keep it simple first and figure out, is it even worth wasting our energy on? You know? So let's see what happens. Brad, let's simulate the buy. I like it. Let's recall that Brad is on the magic version that may or may not work. It's like it knows that we're doing a demo.
That is impressive.
Do you want to kill it and try it again?
Yeah.
Again, remember, guys, part of the entertainment value. But we're not shy. We have no fear. Now let's see if that works. Knock on wood. Yes. Okay. So our computers, hopefully, are actually really...
This will take a while. It's a huge run. We didn't have a lot of filters. There are like hundreds of symbols that are going to generate each day based on that.
Well, but Brad, remember what we're talking about. Don't say that negatively. That's actually a good thing, because what we're doing here is we're taking a huge sample.
Oh, of course. I wasn't saying it negatively. I was just preparing the time.
Yeah. But we can talk to it, and we're talking about why, because we're going to bring in ludicrous mode and to explain what we're trying to do. How is it that we're trying to improve everybody's performance? That's the key. So here we have our computer, which, still, once we got it working and fed the hamster, it's almost done, probably under a minute at the end of the day once it started running. Of course, depends on how it finished. And here it is. It's running through about 2,500, probably be close to 3,000 by the time it's all over. Okay, and you can already see, like, without really, having too much scientific knowledge, you can see it doesn't
look like a good strategy.
Right? It doesn't look very good statistically, although, and this is what we're talking about, this is the problem visually. Every one of these things did that thing where it made a new high on 2 times normal volume. Okay, and we even gave it, that 15-minute buffer to kind of get out of that morning mode. Look at the winners and the losers. They're the raw power and efficiency of the market, okay? So here's what you need to know. There is no silver bullet. The market is actually efficient. So in order to beat that efficiency, you've got to be able to do some serious, super serious number crunching. So remember, go to the optimization tab real quick, Brad. So the optimization tab gives you access to our data points. The data points that Brad and I showed you on the stocks like this page. Like, for example, if you go to the other filters, you can select anything, let's say daily RSI, just so that it's familiar to people, if we have it somewhere. Or
see, I have my version set up a little different than most, whereas I have mine set up, and I'll show you guys how to do it real quick because it's super important. If you go to the Show Advanced area, I use this section right here where I basically selected every single filter that we have, which gives me the ability when I'm running this optimization tab, I have access to every filter inside of Trade Ideas to peek into it and see exactly how it performed with all these different sets.
Right. Well, it's like, how did those stocks like this data points perform against a performance criteria of being up? So you can see like where the things that are good versus where the things that are bad are located. So all of this data is available, right? But we ourselves know that even because we do it every day, it's not easy to do by yourself. So we know visual doesn't work because, I mean, you can just be lucky so many times. And to get the statistical analysis, you have to do something extra. So Brad, let's bring back the ludicrous mode, okay? So the ludicrous mode, and again, I'm just drawing the Tesla metaphor here. What we do is we have baseline strategies, and you can see the names, like on the inflection point, 2-day hold, 5-day hold, there's a bunch of opening range, there's, depending on which way they're going, they're long or short, and our software is trying to find the best ones out of all of these by continuously learning what is and isn't working. Okay, and so here, Brad, open up one of the decent windows like open, yeah, whichever one, the 60-minute open or the 30-minute open. By the way, what else? The other thing that Brad's showing you is, and we'll finish maybe with this, is that there's a completely new menu structure, much cleaner.
So here's an opening range 60-minute hold.
Yep. So let's rerun that, and let's look at, again, let's see how this one did out of sample. And what out of sample means, guys, is that, so obviously the computer does not learn in real time because it's just not that advanced yet. But what we do is we take every day's data, and as our software does maintenance and cleanup, it starts to learn.
So this right here is one of the optimized strategies that was present on the AI page. It shows some great stuff. I mean, dramatically different than that other strategy, the new highs on 2 times relative volume. This one right here shows a profit factor of 5, which it's a ratio, but it's a ratio of the sum total of winning trades over sum total of losing trades. This sample set had a total trade count of 157. That's pretty reasonable. The average winner to loser, 2x. That's great. Gives you the return. Lets you know that on a $50,000 account, using these metrics right here, $5,000 per trade, $5 commissions with giving 3-cent slippage in and out, I can do this strategy with just a $40,000 account. And then you can manipulate some of the data points. Maybe you want to do 100 shares for each one, or 200 shares, and you can see exactly how is my profitability going to be changed with these changes. I could change my commission. Let's say I'm paying $7 commissions. Well, this is going to dynamically change for you. And let's say the slippage, I'm going to lose 5 cents in and 5 cents out. Your expectations are fully managed for you right here. With a lot of other great detail. The calendar heat map lets you know exactly what trades you would have entered into on every given day, what entry price, exit price, how much would you have made or lost, all those.
Brad, how did it do today?
Well, let's do that. So today is not in the odds maker. That's all data from yesterday and before. So if I was to look at today, I would take this window right here and I just run a history for today. And these are the 3 symbols that triggered.
Yeah, we can close the.
Click on them and take a look. So let's start up here at the top. So you can see here at 10:14, this particular trade triggered. This is the candle that it triggered on, and graphically, that's how it would have performed for the next couple hours. QSR, another great opportunity. And if these are only 60-minute holds, you're getting out somewhere in this area right here.
And notice again, the computer learned the best strategy for that 60-minute time frame.
And even on MU, which if you would have held this to the end of the day, you would have been a little bit of a loser. Getting out an hour after the entry here, it would still have been a nice winning trade.
So, Brad, while you were saying this, CN had an interesting comment. He's like, that strategy was bad, the first one that you showed us, but you knew that ahead of time, and just before you spend real money on trying it in the market. Well, again, CN, I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to say, but maybe he's saying, guys, it's like you got all the insider information. You can prepare for this session ahead of time and make something that look good. And the answer is, okay, in theory, yeah, we can. But anybody who has the odds maker already knows. There's no such thing as a good strategy without AI. And Brad can basically take a new alert window and pick anything he wants. He can pick any alert he likes on 2 times normal volume, and it will still be crappy. There's no such thing. The market is too efficient for that. Aaron, by the way, the answer is yes. You do get 10 free odds maker trials to set it up. But this is basically what we're trying to show you guys, is that this is the next level, and it's the most powerful analytic technology that's available for retail traders in the world. Okay, this is how you quote unquote compete with the HFTs and the algorithms and the dark pool. This is your advantage. What we do is we're giving you the ability to crunch the kind of data, or rather we're doing it for you already, that nobody else has and nobody else is crunching. So that's the advantage. And Brad, why don't we, again, quickly give it back to Scott so that he can tell everybody what the offers are in terms of this presentation. And then we'll also just finish up by saying that the the first version of the AI, and this will be just kind of like the AI channel, it'll be a channel in the toolbar, will most likely be out, I'm going to say towards the end of August, with something more or less more official coming out just after Labor Day. So it's really, and prices will go up right after that too, because the AI channel is going to be a different component. So this is yet another opportunity to take advantage of what Trade Ideas is offering. Scott, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, thank you. So something we like to do to thank everyone for joining us is offer a product code so that when you purchase Trade Ideas, you can save. So the code QAWeb, all capitals, QAWeb29, will take $50 off your first month, will save you $150 off your year, or take $300 off a lifetime oddsmaker license. Again, the oddsmaker license will be required for the AI, and it's a lifetime license, so as long as you keep using Trade Ideas, you will have access to the power of the oddsmaker and all new versions of it. If you can go to the next slide, we had a very popular combination that was available for previous prices, and that was an $8.99 package that included lifetime oddsmaker and a full year of Trade Ideas. And we are bringing that back with the new price structure. It lets you save $900 off of the total. So for only $1,088, you get a full year of Trade Ideas and a lifetime oddsmaker license. And we throw in a custom strategy. So
Scott, someone was asking how long is the code good for?
Oh, the code's good until Friday. Also, I forgot to mention, if you look at the handouts portion of your GoToWebinar interface there on your computer, you'll see that there's a PDF there that you can download, and it contains these links as well as the information on how to get this $10.99 deal. To go to the page where you can click through and purchase the 1088 package directly, use that bit.ly link. Just type that into your browser, bit.ly/SAVE 900, because you're saving $900 off of the total price. And I want to thank everyone for joining us.
I don't think there's a handout there, Scott. I guess.
Oh, did I not upload that? I can do that right now. If you bear with me for just a moment.
I think that would be helpful, please.
Yeah, I thought I'd drop that in there.
Meantime,
that'll take a second.
Yeah, no problem. In the meantime, Brad, maybe you can again just kind of go back to the AI preview so we can just kind of finish up what we were talking about in terms of the
All right, there you go. You should see the handout available for download right now.
Okay, never mind then. Again, remember guys, we do the Q&A webinars regularly, so there will be more opportunity to discuss. Scott, there was a question about the slide. Could you go back, Brad, to the slide with the pricing? How much is the odds maker by itself? And remember, we have a code there.
Yeah, the odds maker's
that's the standard right there.
Yeah, it's a one-time $1,100 cost for the lifetime license, and the that product code will take $300 off the price, bringing it down to $800. Or you could get the combination of the year and the odds maker for 1088. And if you're already a Trade Ideas subscriber and you'd like to switch to the 1088 plan, just go ahead and purchase it, then shoot us an email letting you know that you did that, and we'll turn off your standard subscription or the other subscription that you're on so that there's no double billing.
Yeah, Scott, do we have our other webinar this evening?
No, that's next week.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yes, so guys, again, we want to really thank everybody for taking their time. We are just as excited as we can be about what's happening here, because really we will continue to showcase to you the innovation as it's happening in real time, and then there's just so much under the hood. There's so much where we have planned where we kind of almost want to give, well, not almost, but we're really planning on giving you guys the ability to create your own AI channels in the future. So it's going to be really quite amazing. Thank you again for taking your time, and please, if you haven't tried Trade Ideas, go ahead and do so. It's going to be the best investment for your financial independence, and I think it's going to offer everybody a lot of value. And for those that are with us, please participate in the chat room that we have. It's available to everybody. and Barry Einerson, who's our chat room moderator, does a fantastic job of supporting people in real time, as well as actually trading. And there's just everybody sharing ideas and taking things to the next level. And of course, we've got video support, training, and everything. Any kind of resource you really need on the web is available to you.
So Dan, one thing, CN, I just wanted to show you how to get to the training request one more time. Go to our website, go to support, go to education, and go to training request. There you can input your name and contact information, and then we'll get a hold of you.
Yeah, Aaron, in terms of the Quest trade, if you shoot an email to info@trade-ideas.com, we'll figure that out for you and we'll make it work.
Yeah, we link with about 90% of the tools, so I'm pretty sure we can get that one linking for you.
Yep. Okay, everybody, thank you, and we hope to see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.